because we're good people. Doesn't mean we won't kill you. 5 of them aren't back in an hour. I'll put a knife in the base of your skull.
Hey, what's up, guys? Matt back again with his weekly Walking Dead review. This will be for Season 6, Episode 11, entitled Knots Untie. Alright, guys, this episode was pretty significant to the series because it introduced the new colony, the Hilltop, where Jesus is from. Very big in the comics, so that was kind of cool to see that come to life off the comic book, you know. And like I said, this episode started with Abraham and Sasha. They were coming back from patrol or something like that, and you know, they're just having their normal little back and forth banter, which was pretty funny. You know, she called him an idiot and whatnot. And basically, this whole episode, Abraham is just questioning if he wants to settle down and have a family and everything, and who he wants to do it with. Because later on, he's in bed with Rosita, but he's thinking about Sasha. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with that guy there. But anyways, they pretty much pick up right after the last episode where Jesus tells Rick he's got to talk. So he's talking to him and Abraham and Glenn and Maggie and Daryl are all there while he's talking to him, and he basically tells them he's from the Hilltop and that he noticed that they didn't have a lot of food and stuff, but they do have a lot of guns, good armory, and they be willing to trade, because that's what they do. He goes out and try to find other communities to trade with, and Rick, of course, just questions it, and he's like, well, let me prove it. And, I can take you there and I can show you and everything, and then we can discuss trade. So they load up in the RV. It's Rick, Michonne, Daryl, Abraham, Maggie, Glenn, and Jesus. They all they head to the Hilltop, and on the way they come across a car that has been wrecked, and you can tell it had just happened. The car's still smoking and everything, and Jesus recognized it as it's some of his people, and so he wants to go inside and try to save them. So Rick, of course, doesn't let Jesus go with him or anything. He tells Maggie to stay out there and watch him while they go in and check it out. And so they go in and they end up killing some walkers, and they save 4 people from his community. One of them is a doctor, Dr. Harlan, and they're taking them up to the Hilltop, and basically the doctor's Glenn's talking to the doctor, and he finds out that he is a doctor, and asks if he has any prenatal vitamins, and because Maggie's pregnant and everything, and he says, you saved me, so I'm indebted to y'all. So it's y'all's lucky day, because he used to be I forgot the word he said. It's a children's doctor though. But anyways, so they finally get to the Hilltop, and they're walking up to the gate, and all they have is like I said, homemade weapons, like spears with like knives on the end of it and everything, and they're all threatening, Rick and them, like, put your weapons down, and if you want to come in, you got to give up your weapons. Of course, that ain't gonna happen. And Jesus, he talks the guy, talks the guy through it, and says, hey, we trust these people, we're coming in, and the doctor vouches for him too, and everything, So they end up, getting in. They get in, and the Hilltop is pretty nice. It's got, like a blacksmith station, and it's got chickens and livestock and everything. Like I said, they have plenty of food, it looks like, but like I said, Jesus tells them they ran out of ammo months ago, so that's why they're trying places to trade with. And so they go inside. There's like this big mansion thing inside this Hilltop. They got big badass walls too, kind of like Alexandria, but they're like made of wood. So anyways, they go into I think it's called the Barrington House or something like that, I think Jesus called it. But anyways, they go in there and they meet the Hilltop leader, Gregory. Well, he's a real jerk. You can tell he's a prick, and they end up going to clean. He tells them, oh, y'all need to clean up or whatever, it's important to stay clean or whatever. And so as they're going up to clean up, Rick tells Maggie, you're going to talk to him, because you know, Rick probably would lose his temper really quick, especially with this guy being a prick. So he trusts Maggie to do the negotiations. So, but when Maggie goes in there trying to talk to him about trading, he's just he's a jerk. You know, he calls her Natalie and calls her the wrong name and everything. So you can just tell he's not taking them serious. And basically he says, if you want some of our food, you're gonna have to work for it. And you know, that's not flying with Maggie, of course. So after their little meeting, they talk to Jesus, and Jesus like, it's okay, I'll talk to Gregory, I'll convince him, and well, we'll talk him into it. Jesus is totally on their side and everything, trying to talk to Gregory for him. So then right after that, a couple of guys from the hilltop, they show up. I think there's three or four of them, and they all go out to meet him, and Gregory asks, where two of the other people are, and then this big guy Ethan, he's like, they're dead. And then Gregory asked, was it Negan? And he said yes. And the other guy's like, was the drop not good enough? He thought it wasn't good enough, whatever. And of course Rick and the gang, they don't know what's going on, like, who what are they talking about and everything. And the big guy Ethan tells Gregory, they still have Craig, and the only way you're going to give him back is if we deliver a message. And of course he goes up to Gregory, and Gregory's like, well, what message? And boom, he fucking pulls a knife out and stabs him in the stomach. And of course Rick takes quick action, takes down Ethan, and they have a little struggle. He's got him on the ground and pounding him, and the other guy comes over, tries to pull Rick off, and as he does, Abraham gets into the scuffle. And so Rick's fighting with the one guy Ethan, and Abraham's fighting with the other guy. I can't remember his name right now. I have to rewatch it. But they're all scuffling, and the one guy's actually choking Abraham, choking him out. But Daryl comes over, freaking, I don't know, he probably, if he don't break his arm, he hurts his arm pretty good. He grabs it and kind of snaps it, looking like a look, and then he has him at gunpoint, so he won't be doing anything else. And the guy actually turns Rick over, and he has like this little knife on him. And he's like, nobody move, or I gotta do this for my brother. I guess so. The guy that they have captive is his brother. So the reason I guess that the message was he had to kill Gregory. But he looks up just for like a split second, and Rick ends up stabbing him in the neck, and blood goes all over Rick's face and everything. And it's pretty cool because straight from the comics, right after this, Rick gets up, all the people at the hilltop look at him, he's all bloody on the face because that guy's blood went all over him. And he just kind of looks crazed like he always does when he had blood all over him. And it's straight from the comics, because the same thing happened in the comics. Guy stabbed Gregory, Rick had to kill the guy, and of course he looks around on the comics, and just like on the TV show, and he's like, what? Because this is nothing to them. They're always killing and have blood on them. But I guess these people, kind of like the Alexandrians at first, they're not used to seeing it, I guess, inside the walls, of course. And so it's just, he's like, what? And then there was a girl that was with the two guys that had come back to the hilltop, and I don't know if the guy that Rick killed, Ethan, was. I'm guessing it was probably the girl was that guy's girl, his wife or girlfriend or something. She comes over and she punches Rick, after he had, he's killed her. It's like she's, infuriated, and after he does that, Michonne, like, basically, I don't know if she shoulder bumped her or punched her. Like I said, I've only seen it once, but she knocks her down, and kind of like a warning, like, don't do anything else, or if you want to live, okay, basically. And so that scuffle's over, and then they cut to later on, and the Dr. Harlan, he's like, I was able to patch up Gregory. He's gonna live. Everything's gonna be all right. So Jesus relays the message to Rick and the gang, and then of course Rick's like, out there we heard the name Negan, and so they're trying to inquire about Negan and everything. And Jesus tells them that when the hilltop first went up, Negan, he runs this group called the Saviors, and when they first got the hilltop going, he shows up, and he ended up beating one of their guys to death, and basically tells them, if you don't want us to kill the rest of y'all, we're gonna get everything y'all have. We're gonna get half of y'all stuff, so you're going to have to keep delivering supplies to us, as you get it, half of everything. And so that's what them people that were coming back from, I guess whatever supplies that it took that time, it wasn't enough, so that's why they killed two of the people, and they took the other guy hostage and told him to kill Gregory. I guess that was the message, so that's what I interpreted from it. But of course, when they were telling, Jesus was telling them about Negan and everybody, Daryl was like, you know, well, we've already dealt with these guys, you know, and Abraham backed them up, you know, he said we left them in puddles and everything, you know, just, you know, because the RPG when they killed those other saviors. And you know, basically Daryl's like, you know, it's a good story. It's the boogeyman ain't shit, he said, you know, he's like, if we go and we kill Negan and his men and we get your guy Craig back, you know, you give us, you know, medicine and food and Daryl says one of those cows out there, livestock, you know, and then basically Rick backs him up and says, you know, confrontation has never been an issue for us, you know, and basically Rick backs up Daryl and says, you know, we're willing to do this if you help us out, you know, and you know that's basically the trade. We kill them and keep y'all safe and, you know, get your guy back for half of your supplies, kind of thing. And so Jesus takes it to Gregory and explains, you know, what they want and everything, and then Gregory wants to talk to Maggie. So Maggie basically they talk and they end up coming to the agreement, you know, that Rick and them are going to handle the saviors and they're going to get half everything up front. And then so as they're leaving back to Alexandria, they take, you know, they start getting some bunch of supplies for, you know, for the agreement and everything. And Rick takes the one guy back that got into the scuffle with Abraham earlier after he killed Ethan. And, you know, he basically tells him, you know, you've been doing the supply runs to Negan. I need to know everything about him, his compound. So you're coming with us. So, you know, he gets an RV with him to go back, and Jesus goes back with him as well. And so before they head back, though, Maggie goes to the doctor, I guess because they have a bunch of doctors, cool supplies. And this guy used to be a baby doctor. He has a sonogram, you know, you can get a sonogram, you know, ultrasound. And so Maggie gets her ultrasound of the baby and everything. And on the way back, they're all checking out the picture of the sonogram. They you know, they can see the baby and everything, and everybody's, you know, Michonne, big smile on their face and everything, and Daryl and Abraham, everybody sees it. So it was a pretty cool little ending to the episode. But yeah, they packed a lot of stuff in this episode. You know, they introduced the Hilltop, a lot of new characters. That's why some of the names escape me. I have to rewatch it, but all in all, I thought it was really cool introduction of the Hilltop. You know, pretty close to the comic books, you know. So they keep this trend up pretty close to the comic books. Like I said, Negan is supposed to be finally going to be on the show on the season finale. So that is going to be epic when that actually goes down. And now Rick and the gang is aware of Negan and who his, you know, the saviors and everything. So it's only going to get more intense building up to the season finale. And I can't wait to see what happens next. So like I said, I know this is a little lengthy, but like I said, I wanted to try to get everything in this review that I can, because it was a pretty action-packed episode, or not action-packed, but packed episode, just a lot of information and a lot of new stuff to process. So like I said, as always, I appreciate you checking this review out, and like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.
Welcome to Woodburn.